Hey guys, what's going on and welcome back. Today I'm bringing you something really cool. It's a really awesome N8N workflow and you're going to be able to download the entire JSON template for free. And it's going to be generating a Hollywood AAA grade videos for you, okay? And you can just basically ask an agent to predefine the theme for you. So here, if you quickly look at the chat input, I created an agent that lets you choose either option one, where it's going to self-guide you through the entire process. It's going to ask you 9 key questions that are required to build a really nice VO3 prompt, okay? Or you can choose option number 2. It's a theme-based auto mode, meaning just give it a theme and it's going to give you a prompt and just simply approve or request for changes. And let me show you an actual video that I generated with this flow right here. Again, and just on the spot, it looks like something out of the movie. Again, I asked to generate a Mad Max theme. That's literally all asked, and it did this for me. And guys, just check it out. Let me just play that for you. It's pretty sick, guys. Come on, guys. It literally looks like a snippet out of an actual Mad Max movie, okay? And you're gonna be able to generate this by yourself, okay? So let me just quickly walk you through the entire thing and show you how everything works so you can, like, for example, if you're a beginner and you're like super excited about it, but you're kind of confused or maybe intimidated by everything you see on a screen. So let me just walk you through what does each node do, what it is, and just really the basic foundations for N8N, right? So let's go ahead and dive into it right away. So in N8N, everything requires a basically trigger node. Okay, so the entire workflow just on a screen right here is a workflow. And it needs to be triggered by a trigger node, okay? So here I'm using a chat interface node, meaning because, well, I need a way to communicate with a agent, right? And chat node is a native node to N8N, meaning that right here, I can just say something, what can you do? And this chat node is communicating with a agent right here, okay? And now it's gonna answer. Let's go to second, and here it's going to say, again, kind of the same thing, you know, go step by step, manual mode, or go fast with a team auto mode, okay? So I'll test drive those ones for you in a bit. So it triggers the workflow and then it does its thing, okay? There are multiple trigger nodes. You can trigger it through Telegram, WhatsApp, with subflows, meaning that it can be triggered from a different flow within N8N. It can be triggered by HTTP nodes. Well, not really. It can be triggered using webhook. Okay, and webhook essentially it's sort of think of as an actual internet or web hook that hooks to a different software application endpoint in a sense, right? So you can send a data from different application, and once that data lands in your N8N workflow here, then the workflow gets triggered. Okay, so the only problem with webhook, there's a bit of a delay. It's like API. Webhook is there's a bit more delay, but again, I'm not going to be touching on all the technicalities. But if you guys want me to kind of drop a course on, you know, the sort of back end of things like APIs, webhooks, and HTTP type requests, let me know down in the comments, and I'll definitely make a video on that as well. Okay, so now once we trigger everything, everything goes into a agent node, okay? And here we're sort of defining all the magic, okay? So here we are taking the chat input data here, okay? So if you ask me how you get these JSON weird things, okay, it's actually pretty straightforward. If you look on the left side right here, you see where it says, what can I do for you? It's a chat input, okay, JSON, because everything in N8N is JSON. Right here, if you look on the right side, okay, this is JSON. JSON output, okay? And JSON output essentially is a JavaScript sort of object, right? Which contains a data communication, right? So it's sort of a way for software to communicate between each other, right? So sort of think of it as like, you know, like we're talking to each other just by communicating and talking through voice. Essentially, this is how N8N communicates with different softwares or workflow, you know, so it uses JSON. So again, it's sort of a language or communication way between the nodes and the applications and stuff like that, and APIs, etc., right? But again, it's sort of a JavaScript object if we're talking about from a technical point of view. So how do I get this one? Okay, you can do it two ways. You can type them manually, and what you can do double curly braces, brackets, sorry, whatever, $sign, and you can do JSON. And if you want to know what kind of a JSON object options you have, you're gonna do that. And here you're gonna have the essentially fields that are coming from the previous node. Okay, so here we have chat input, action, and session ID. Okay, that's kind of more techy way of doing that. But you can essentially do the same thing here. If you look on the left side, it's literally the same thing. Just take this one here and drag it and drop it in here, and you're gonna have exactly the same result. Okay, super easy. Like once you kind of wrap your hand around it, it's like butter. Then we have this one. This is essentially a system message. Okay, so system message is sort of a defining how you want your AI agent to act and behave at all times. So think of it as sort of defining permanent character for your agent. Well, not permanent because you can change it. Okay, it's in your hands. But as long as you don't change it, this is going to be kind of what the behavior and the logic it's going to apply, right? And here we're essentially saying your Max, professional VO3 video creation assistant. It's kind of important to give AI tools a purpose and a style and a character. Otherwise, it's just going to generate basically, it will do something, but it won't be as good quality, right? So you need to sort of guide it initially, give it character, give it a job, okay, and stuff like that, and then it's going to do a really, really good job. So that's what we're doing exactly, right? So here I'm saying that we have two options. That's exactly what it's asking. And I think what's really important here is that we are defining all these 9 actions or key points that it has to check mark, okay? Let me see if I can actually show you here. It's going to be easier, right? So if you look at this here, essentially a agent must, and it cannot continue to the next node if it doesn't have this data, right? So style and essentially how the video is being rendered, essentially the style of the video, okay, the shot setup. So if you guys know, in the movies, there is, you know, all the shots and angles, they're not random, okay? There is a logic behind it, okay? And we are essentially asking agent to do the same, kind of replicate what's happening in real life. So shot setup, subject, and wardrobe, meaning that, you know, the AI model or the object in the video, you know, how it acts, you know, how is it styled, how does it look, what is it wearing, what is he or she, okay? Scene, environment, action, props, mood and tone, voice and dialogue, music and sound, and color palette, okay? So we're defining quite a bit. That's why the videos you guys saw, or the video saw, was so nicely done. Okay, this is all because everything that's happening here behind the scenes, right? And here I'm just defining some mandatory things that I want. Aspect ratio should be always 16:9 because that's kind of the expectation of the API endpoint that's receiving the prompt. Okay, so we're using something called WaveSpeed AI, and the JSON there is expecting the aspect ratio to be 16:9. Otherwise, it's going to crash the request, right? And the videos are always capped at 8 seconds, okay? Because again, VO3 does cost roughly about $3.2 per one run because we have content, good quality content, sound, and dialogue. So there is a bit of a cost to it, okay? So I'm just making sure that we don't exceed that cap of 8 seconds, so we don't like eat all of our tokens, right? So cool, let's move on to the next one. Next up, essentially, we're checking if a generation is ready. So this node is true or false node, okay? Because as I said, we have mandatory options. There's like 9 check marks that AI needs to check mark to generate the video. Or if you use option number 2, it's going to check mark everything on its own based on the predefined theme that you choose. But if that condition is not met, it's going to go back to the agent. It's going to say, hey, like you haven't answered this question, or I'm missing like voice and sound or the environment, whatever. But once all of those are met, if node will pass to true, and then we're going to continue to the WaveSpeed AI. And if you ask me what are these nodes, these are essentially JS nodes. And here I'm not doing anything crazy. Essentially, I'm just kind of I would say cleaning up or redefining the JSON output for the next node. I think we skipped this one. This one is more complex, but really all it does really, it just really kind of splits or reformats the and routes the response type. So I call the route response type. Here, since since it's only a response, it's going to be formatted into a text like this, because the issue I had before, everything was getting formatted into a sort of JSON format. Okay, so the answer here in the chat input here was given to me like this with the curly braces. Okay, and to fix that, essentially what I did, I created a custom JS node saying that if it's just a response, then make sure to reformat it into a just like normal text. But if you have all the data and you gathered everything you need, then use the JSON and pass it on as a JSON to the following nodes. Okay, so that's sort of what it does here. And there's a bunch of comments if you guys want to kind of explore and read. And you can always dump this JS code into ChatGPT or Claude and ask them to explain everything in details. And it's a pretty straightforward JS code. There's nothing really crazy happening, okay? But if you want to learn more about JavaScript within N8N, always I encourage you to drop a comment and let me know if you want to learn basics of JS that are useful within N8N, and I'll definitely drop a short video on that as well, okay? Cool, so now is the fun part. So here we are essentially dumping all the JSON data with our prompt once it's ready to a WaveSpeed AI input. Actually, guys, to make it more visual, let me generate a new video so we can kind of see how the data flows. Okay, so let's think about the theme, okay, because that's going to be the easiest one. I'm not going to go through number one because it's going to take maybe 10 minutes. So I'm going to go with number two. So I'm going to predefine sort of a theme. Okay, I want to, guys, what I'm thinking about Max Payne. Okay, if you guys are a gamer or if you guys remember the movie Max Payne, I forgot the name of the actor. Well, anyways, but yeah. So, anyways, we'll define something Max Payne in a Max Payne team. So let's go ahead and do that. So all I'm saying really, I want a action video in Max Payne team. Okay, so let's just send that to a agent. Now it's gonna do its thing. Okay, so here it says you're looking for an action movie inspired by the Max Payne team. I used it. Okay, just confirm that you want the classic. Yes, exactly. Yeah, definitely. Let me just fix typo. Definitely want the classic one. Okay, let's send that off to AI again. It's gonna do its thing. Let's wait for a sec. Cool, so now it should be ready. So here's defining all the options. Visual style and cinema, basically the style of the video. Okay, neo noir, yeah, cinematic realism with deep shadows, rain slick textures, and dramatic lighting. Exactly, that's exactly how I remember Max Payne. Shot setup, yep, that's cool. Action and props, cool. Voice and dialogue, deep, gravely male, nice. In the city, hope. I just another word for pain. Oh, there's actually so on point. Cool. Music and sound. So I actually love this. I'm gonna say yes. Proceed. And now it's gonna do its thing. Okay. So now it's gonna go create a prompt, send it off to the WaveSpeed AI right here. Okay, and now boom, it went through. And if we open this one right here, we can see it got sent to the WaveSpeed AI. And while it's doing its thing, let me open up WaveSpeed AI and show you what it is. WaveSpeed AI is essentially a platform with different APIs. Okay, or API essentially is think of it as a bridge between one application and other application, and you have access to VEO3, VEO3 Fast, the one we're using right now, high-low CDANs. So if I just go and explore, for example, here, and we have essentially, well, the WaveSpeed has their own AI. We have ByteDance, CDANs, okay. We have Kling, and essentially all the video models you could expect and that are out there, you will be able to access them in here in one place and just simply, changing the APIs. Okay, so we're using VEO3, this one right here. VEO3 Fast is. Oh god, that was loud. And all we're really fixing are the API endpoints. So here is the HTTPS, this is the one we're using, VEO3 Fast. And if I go back here and I open up this one here, this is exactly the same endpoint here. And once you use different AI, simply just copy paste that endpoint into your HTTP node. Okay, so while it's doing its thing, let me just explain you now about the HTTP nodes, guys. Okay, So HTTP nodes are essentially nodes with different request types, okay? And you can make API calls to something like WaveSpeed or different platforms. And in most cases, you're going to be using POST or GET, okay? So when you want to send something with the prompt or data to a model platform, whatever, you're going to be using POST, okay? Because you're posting something, think of it as sending or posting an actual letter. So you need to post it, right? So you need to send a data. And most of the time, you're going to be using authentication type generic, and then it's going to be header because authentication in APIs is done through the headers. Okay, that's more of a complex API topic. And then you can create your own credentials. So create your credential here. Here, it's going to be essentially like this one here. So it's going to be barrier. Okay, this one here. So you would basically copy this and you would bring that in here like this, okay, like this, okay, and then you're gonna copy paste your API key in here, okay, and then save, and you should be good to go, okay. If you run into any errors, let me know, I'll help you out. Then it always has to be content type proud application JSON because we are sending the JSON body to the AI model. If I open it here, you're gonna see a lot of similarities here: aspect ratio, duration, if there's audio, and the prompt itself. And if you can see, we're following the exact same structure, okay? Because it has to match, otherwise it's gonna crash. And the body request, there's gonna be a mismatch and it's gonna crash, okay? So if you can see, aspect ratio 16:9, duration is 8. And this is our prompt, okay? So this is the prompt that was generated by AI. It is right here. And how I got it, I got essentially from either you can type it manually because we're just referencing the previous node, or we can get it from, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, from this one, from this node here. And the prompt here is the final VEO3 prompt, okay? It's right here, guys, on the left side. And here I'm referencing it right here, okay? So I'm just saying the node name and then the item, because we need to kind of select the right, I would say the right JSON, okay? And by that, we are using a dot to access that specific JSON, right? So here we're doing, let me see, guys, got lost there for a second. So item, okay? So item is right. Yeah, so it's like this. So route response type, okay, that's the name of the node. Then that item, okay, which is this one, that item. And then we're going into JSON.data, which is this one here, JSON.data here. And then we're going into a final VEO3 prompt. And again, that is done by through accessing through dots. So if I scroll down here, so we had item.data right here, and then that final VEO3 prompt, which is going to be right here. Okay, so that's sort of a one after another, and those are accessed by using dots within the JSON. Okay, maybe that was confusing. If you guys didn't get it, let me know down in the comments. I'll try to help you out if there's some confusion with the JSON. Okay, it's going to take a bit of time, but once you get it, it's going to be really easy, and you're going to be a pro at reading and understanding the JSONs. Okay, so cool. I think our flow is good to go. Then we're using basically a wait node, and wait node is required because it takes roughly minutes, maybe minute and a half to generate the VEO3 video, but I'm giving a safe buffer of 40 seconds because if you try to pull the video result earlier, it's going to crash. It's going to say that it does not exist or bad request. Okay, so that's our waiting with extra buffer. And then we're using again HTTP node. And if you guys remember, to get something, we're using get. And again, we're using the WaveSpeed API predictions. And then we need to say exactly what we want. And we want JSON.data.id. And why is that? Because if we look where the actual URL is hosted, okay? So if I go, and let me just find that. Yeah, so this one right here, if you guys look on the left side, data ID. So this is the one. If we are, let me just expand that here. So JSON.data.id. So we're essentially pulling it from here. So JSON.data.id. We need this ID, and then we're attaching it here into this variable here, and then we're getting this result. If you guys look at output, this is the exact same ID right here, okay? So this is the same ID, it's exact match of this ID right here. And then we're essentially converting that into MP4, okay, to download the result. And then we're logging everything into a Excel sheet here. Okay, so everything is nicely formatted in here. And also, I'll also share this spreadsheet with you guys so you can basically be up and running. The only thing you need to do, you need to authenticate your Gmail, well, your spreadsheet account. And the way you do it, just drop here, create new credential, and sign in with Google, choose your Gmail account, and then you're going to be good to go and accept all the events and everything. And that's all you got to do. Okay. And then it's going to log everything on here. Okay. So you have the same description, action, audio style, and everything. And here's the link to download the final video. So if I click on it, okay, and I bring it here, now I'll be able to download the entire video. Okay, here's the video. I'm super excited to actually say, let's give it a try. Let's play that. Nice.
In this city,
Pretty cool.
hope is just another word.
Nice. It has that Max Payne slow motion and just the visuals and everything. Again, you can play around with it a little bit and make it more even, I would say, natural. But still, this is pretty good for just like a prompt that was fully generated by AI. Again, if you're good with creative parts and everything, you can do everything yourself and use option number 1. But again, yeah, guys, that's essentially what it is and how it works. Pretty straightforward. I hope you guys kind of got the idea how to work with it. Again, if you want to change something in the prompts, you can play with this system message here. But again, this is really good. I actually got this idea somewhere on the Reddit, how to structure it to get high quality outputs for VO3. But if you want to give it a try, you can always change a agent. This is essentially the brain where everything happens. I think I forgot to touch on these two here. So a agent needs actually a model. I'm using GPT 4.1 because it's fairly fast. It's on the cheaper side, I would say, than 4.0. And it's fairly creative when it comes to like doing stuff like that. And then I have conversational memory, which essentially is a sort of memory for your agent. Because if I want to ask or change something in my script, the agent needs to be able to reference that in the past conversations, and that's why we're giving it a 5 past conversations to look back to. Okay, so hey guys, so I think I covered everything. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new. And again, this entire thing will be available as a free JSON download. So just once you do it, go here, click on 3 dots right here, import file from file, and you're gonna have exactly the same thing. And if you run into any issues, errors, leave a comment down below and I'll check it out and I'll help you out. And as always, guys, if you did enjoy the video and like the content, always make sure to like and subscribe and enable notifications so you get notified when next video like this drops, because I always provide free JSON templates and I try to do it beginner level friendly. So, and you already know, I'm gonna see you next time.